Okay, hello everybody. We're going to be installing and setting up Visual Studio Code. So start off with going to code.visualstudio.com and download for your operating system. Once we've downloaded that and run the installer, we're going to look at how to open a project. We'll look at some extensions that kind of add on to Visual Studio Code, add more functionality to it, and some various settings that are useful. Okay, it looks like it's done here. So run the executable, opened up on my other screen. All right, so read through the license agreement and accept if you so choose to. Usually the default folder should be fine. I'm going to go with that. That looks good. Sure, we'll create a desktop icon. And I like this open with code options. It allows me to right click on a folder to open it with code. And I'll show you that as well as one of the options to open. So hit next and install. Okay, so there's a lot of different text editors for programming. Visual Studio Code's one of the best ones that I found. But if you have other ones that you enjoy, that's fine too. Okay, let's launch it. Launched on my other screen. Come over here. Oh, it's stubborn. There we go. Okay, so it starts out with this welcome screen. I'm going to uncheck this so that doesn't show up every time. One of the key things we want here is your file explorer here. So it shows you what's open. We'll just close that, so nothing's open right now. And here's obviously the first way that you can open a project. So you just click on this open folder, or you can go file, open folder. That's up to you. Okay, so I'm going to go here, and it opens to my documents right away. I have a little template that I was going to open, HTML CSS template. So we select that, and now it nicely has, it shows this is your project folder, and these are the files inside of it. You can have multiple tabs if you want, and that's beautiful. Okay, another way to, so I'm just going to close this folder. Another way to open the folder, I'm just going to do that, is I'm going to go to my documents and go to that same folder. And you can actually just take this folder and drag it right into the open area here. And that'll launch Visual Studio Code with that as your project folder. Okay, and yet another way to open it. Why am I going through so many options? I have no idea. But just giving you the choice. Sometimes it comes in handy to just right click on this and say open with code. And that'll launch a new window and launch that as your project folder. Okay, so let's close this one. And there we go. Now, a couple other things that we were going to look at. What was I going to look at here? So that's the different ways to open a project. Okay, some extensions that are useful. So right now, if I wanted to say, hey, what does this thing look like? I would probably go here and click on index.html and say, there's my little template. That's what it looks like. And if I were to make some changes, awesome heading, see the little dot there shows that there's unsaved changes, so hit Control S to save. And I don't see my changes. I need to hit refresh before it changes. So what we can do in Visual Studio Code is we can add an extension called Live Server. So you can just click on here. This is the Extensions tab. And we want Live Server by Ritwick Day and hit Install. Okay. This should install automatically. Sometimes it says download manually. And then you just follow the instructions, download it, and then select the file. But now that should have added Live Server, and you can see now the little Go Live down here. So when I'm in my project, just close that, I can hit that Go Live. Sometimes the Go Live doesn't load when you have like a new project. And then what you can do is just right click and say Open with Live Server. Okay, so you hit Go Live, and it should open up with your default browser. Okay, so now notice this first one we opened up from the file, and it shows you, oh, it's loaded this file. This one has this 127.0.0 whatever. This is basically a local server running on port 5500. So it establishes a connection between the two documents. So let's say this is an awesome paragraph. Hit save, And you should notice that this one here that was running through the local server automatically updated without me having to hit refresh. So that's very useful. Whereas this one here didn't, I need to hit refresh. Okay, so that's what I commonly do is I like to run my program through that local server. Okay, another thing that's nice is another extension I like is something called Beautify. Okay, so Beautify by Hooky QR, sure. And again, hit install on this. And basically what this does is, let's say your alignment's not quite right, or there's something weird, you've got things aren't lined up the way they should. What you can do, now this won't change my website. My code doesn't care about extra spacing, it still looks fine, but it makes it harder to read. So if I hit F1, that opens up your command palette. And one of the commands is to format your document. Okay, the shortcut for that is Shift-Alt-F. Now it says, oh, there are multiple formatters. We want to hit Configure and choose Beautify that we just installed. And notice it automatically did that wonderful realign things. So Shift-Alt-F, and it runs that beautification. Okay, so that's really nice. It helps clean up your code. Okay, the other thing I was going to look at was some of different settings. So color theme, where do I do that? Oh yeah, down here you can click to get to some options here. One of them is your color theme right there. So you can play around with this, right? You can go light color themes. Or you can go, actually I selected it. I think what you can do is just, if you use your arrows, you can check out what they look like. I think Monica dimmed is my favorite. And then you select it. Okay. Another thing I was going to look at was, oh yeah, mouse zoom wheel. Especially when I'm presenting, I like to hold the control key and use my mouse wheel to zoom in and out. For that, we can go to settings. And in here, let's just search for zoom wheel. And we just check this off. Zoom the font. Yep. And now I can hold control and use my mouse wheel zoom to just zoom in and out. Okay. Some other settings, I like word wrap. Editor word wrap, and we can turn that on. And what that does basically is if you've got a long line here, right, instead of having to horizontal scroll, it'll wrap to the next line. Okay, let's undo all that. But anyway, that's useful, the word wrap. Oh yeah, and format on save is really cool. So remember how I showed you that we can go F1, format document, or do that Shift-Alt-F shortcut. What I like to do in the settings is just search for format on save, and it'll run that command to format the document whenever you hit Control-S, whenever you want to save it. Okay, so now if this is not aligned properly, I just hit Control-S, and it automatically does some formatting for me. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. Install, right? Download and install it. Different ways to open a project, some extensions and settings. It's a good tool to use, and we'll be using it a lot. Okay, take care. Hope that made sense, and we'll see you in the next video.